Take a moment right now to walk into your kitchen and look at that bottle of olive oil sitting on your counter. For many of us in our senior years, that bottle represents more than just a cooking ingredient. It is a promise. It is a promise of heart health, a shield against inflammation, and a cornerstone of the longevity we've worked so hard to achieve. You likely chose it because of an elegant, Italian-sounding name, a label depicting sun-drenched Tuscan hills, and a price point that suggested you were buying the very best for your body. But what if I told you that the liquid inside that bottle is not the liquid gold described by Homer, but a sophisticated, chemically altered lie? Welcome to Tips for Senior, where today we are pulling back the curtain on the most pervasive fraud in the modern food industry. According to the European Commission and global food fraud monitors, extra virgin olive oil is currently the most frequently adulterated and faked food product on the planet, surpassing even the illicit trade of counterfeit luxury goods or vintage spirits. For the senior community, this is not merely a financial scam. It is a direct assault on your biological resilience. When you reach for extra virgin oil, you are looking for polyphenol and oleocanthal, compounds that science proves can protect your brain from cognitive decline and your arteries from plaque. However, criminal organizations across Italy, Spain, and Greece have turned food fraud into a multi-billion-dollar empire. They have mastered a process of food alchemy, where low-grade, lamp panty oil, an industrial oil traditionally used to fuel lamps and unfit for human consumption, is chemically bleached to remove its foul odor and then dyed with artificial chlorophyll to mimic the vibrant green hue of fresh pressed olives. Senior meticulously following a Mediterranean diet to manage blood pressure, only to unknowingly flood their system with toxic free radicals and oxidized fats. In 2025 alone, international raids seized over 16,000 liters of this fraudulent sludge, yet much of it still bypasses weak regulatory checks and lands on your local grocery shelves. Even more alarming, some of the most iconic brands in America have been caught in the crosshairs of massive lawsuits, admitting in legal settlements that their pure oil was actually a mystery blend from anonymous industrial refineries. This is a crisis of integrity that targets the most health-conscious among us. Today, we are embarking on a 12-part journey to arm you with the truth. We will expose the 5 most deceptive brands you must avoid, and introduce you to the 5 transparent heroes who are actually delivering on their promises. Your health is too valuable to be left to the mercy of a corporate marketing department. Let's begin. The first name on our list of brands to avoid is Carapelli, a brand that many seniors recognize as a staple of premium olive oil. Its elegant, stout bottle and old-world labeling suggest a heritage of Italian craftsmanship that spans generations. However, behind this sophisticated facade lies a documented history of legal turmoil and quality failures that should make any health-conscious senior think twice before reaching for it. Carapelli is owned by Diolio, a massive Spanish multinational that controls a staggering portion of the global oil market. The primary issue with Carapelli isn't just a single mistake, it is a pattern of failing to meet the very standards they print on their labels. In landmark class action lawsuits filed in California, independent laboratory testing revealed that Carapelli's extra virgin oil frequently failed to meet the chemical and sensory requirements of that grade. This means that while you are paying for an elite health food, you are often receiving a lower grade, refined oil that lacks the potent anti-inflammatory compounds your body needs to fight off the aches and pains of aging. But the concerns go deeper than just a lack of quality. Carapelli was entangled in a significant FDA recall event due to the detection of pesticide residues, specifically trifloxystrobin and tebuconazole. For a senior citizen who is trying to reduce their toxic load and protect their liver and kidneys, the presence of unpermitted pesticides in a natural product is a total betrayal of trust. Perhaps the most glaring offense, however, is Carapelli's persistent use of clear glass packaging. As a senior, you must understand that light is the ultimate enemy of olive oil. Scientific studies show that when olive oil is exposed to the fluorescent lights of a grocery store in a clear bottle, the healthy polyphenol, the very antioxidants that protect your brain from cognitive decline, begin to oxidize and disappear within weeks. By the time you buy that clear bottle of Carapelli, the medicine inside has likely turned into a source of oxidative stress. This oxidation creates free radicals that can actually promote inflammation in your joints and arteries, the exact opposite of why you are consuming olive oil in the first place. When a company chooses a clear bottle for the sake of shelf appeal over a dark bottle that would protect your health, they are telling you that their marketing is more important than your longevity. For these reasons, Carapelli is a brand that simply does not earn a place in a kitchen dedicated to senior wellness. The second brand we must scrutinize is Pompian. If you've spent any time in a major American grocery chain, you have undoubtedly seen their prominent America's oldest olive oil brand with roots tracing back to 1914. Pompian has built a massive empire based on the image of being a trusted household staple. However, for a senior who is prioritizing cellular health and cardiovascular protection, the tradition Pompian sells is often a hollow shell. The primary issue with Pompian lies in its business model. It is a massive blender of oils. Instead of sourcing from a single, high-quality estate, Pompian aggregates oils from a vast, complex network of international suppliers across multiple countries. This creates what we call a transparency gap. For a senior body that is more sensitive to inflammatory triggers, knowing the exact origin and age of your food is not a luxury. No law MOT became synonymous with quality concerns following the landmark study by the UC Davis Olive Center. This study sent shockwaves through the industry when it revealed that a significant percentage of imported, extra virgin oils, including those from Pompian, failed to meet the sensory and chemical standards of the grade. While Pompian disputed these findings and argued that the standards were too subjective, the legal and scientific record remains a major red flag. When a brand's quality is a subject of constant industry debate, can you really afford to make it a primary part of your diet? Pompian consistently lacks the most important seal of trust. For American consumers, the California Olive Oil Council (COC) certification. This certification is the gold standard because it requires independent, third-party testing that is far stricter than the loose federal guidelines. Without this seal, Pompian is essentially asking you to take their word for it. But perhaps the most frustrating issue for seniors is the lack of a clear, prominent harvest date on many of their bottles. As we age, our bodies rely on the potent antioxidants called polyphenol found in fresh olive oil. These compounds are highly volatile. They begin to degrade the moment the oil is pressed. Buying a bottle of Pompian without a harvest date is like buying a bottle of mystery medicine without an expiration date. You have no way of knowing if the oil is 2 months old or 2 years old. An oil that has sat in a global distribution chain for 18 months has lost its anti-inflammatory power, leaving you with nothing but empty fats. For a senior seeking the true healing benefits of the Mediterranean diet, Pompian represents a gamble that simply isn't worth taking. The third brand on our avoid list is perhaps one of the most recognizable names in the world, Filippo Berio. With its classic green and yellow label and the prominent claim, imported from Italy, this brand dominates nearly 20% of the global extra virgin olive oil market. For many seniors, the Filippo Berio bottle has been a trusted companion in the kitchen for decades. We have been conditioned to believe that Italian is a synonym for quality when it comes to olive oil. However, Filippo Berio has been at the center of a massive legal controversy that exposes the deceptive nature of modern food. A federal judge recently refused to dismiss a class action lawsuit against Salve, the company that produces Filippo Berio, which challenged the honesty of their imported from Italy deception lies in a legal loophole. The plaintiffs in the case alleged that while the oil was physically packed in Italy, the olives themselves were actually sourced from a rotating door of anonymous industrial farms in Tunisia, Greece, and Spain. In court filings, the company's own attorneys admitted that the oil was not made exclusively from Italian olives, yet they argued that the label wasn't false, because the final step, the bottling, occurred on Italian soil. For a senior who buys this oil specifically for the health benefits associated with the authentic Mediterranean diet of the Italian countryside, this is a profound betrayal. You are paying a premium price for the image of Italy, but you are receiving a mass-produced, multinational blend that lacks the traceability and soul of a true estate-grown product. Beyond the geographic shell game, Filippo Berio presents the same biological hazard we see with other mass-market imports, the clear glass bottle. As we age, our bodies become more susceptible to oxidative stress, which is why we seek out the peppery, anti-inflammatory compound called oleocanthal found in genuine extra virgin olive oil. However, oleocanthal is incredibly sensitive to light. When Filippo Berio sits in a clear bottle under the harsh, 24-hour fluorescent lighting of a modern supermarket, a chemical reaction occurs. The light penetrates the glass and begins to break down the delicate molecular structure of the oil. By the time you pour that oil over your vegetables, it is likely dead. The vibrant antioxidants have been replaced by rancid to protect their joints from arthritis or their brain from neurodegeneration. Consuming light-damaged oil is not just a waste of money, it is counterproductive to your health goals. When a brand prioritizes shelf aesthetics and seeing the oil over using dark glass to protect your nutrition, they are failing their duty to the consumer. For these reasons, Filippo Berio remains a brand that offers the illusion of Mediterranean health while delivering a product that has been legally and biologically compromised. The fourth brand on our avoid list is Great Value, the massive house brand for Walmart. For many seniors living on a fixed income, Great Value olive oil represents an enticing opportunity to save money on a pantry staple. It is often the most affordable option on the shelf, frequently sold in large plastic or glass jugs that promise the health benefits of the Mediterranean diet at a fraction of the cost of specialty brands. However, in the world of high-quality nutrition, you often get exactly what you pay for, and in the case of Great Value, this savings may come at a significant cost to your long-term vitality. For a senior citizen, Great Value olive oil is what we call an accountability, the total absence of independent, third-party quality verification. Unlike the brands we will recommend later, Great Value does not carry the California Olive Oil Council (COC) seal or the North American Olive Oil Association (NAOA) quality mark. These seals are not just stickers. They represent a rigorous process of laboratory analysis and sensory testing by certified experts who ensure the oil is actually extra virgin and not a lower-grade refined product. Without these certifications, you are essentially trusting a massive corporation to police its own quality. For a senior trying to reduce systemic inflammation, this lack of oversight is a major risk. Lower-quality oils that haven't been verified can often be refined, a process that uses heat and chemicals to strip away bad odors and flavors, but in the process, it also strips away the very polyphenol, the natural medicine, that you are paying for. Even more concerning is the chronic absence of a harvest date on Great Value packaging. As a senior, you must view olive oil as a perishable product, much like milk or fresh produce. The potent antioxidants that protect your heart and brain are at their peak immediately after the olives are pressed and begin to vanish after 12 to 18 months. Without a harvest date, Great Value gives you zero accountability for freshness. That bottle could have been sitting in a distribution center for 2 years before it reached your store. When you consume dead olive oil that has lost its anti-inflammatory power, you are essentially consuming empty fats. For a senior struggling with joint pain or high blood pressure, these empty fats provide none of the biological large format clear plastic or glass containers used by Great Value are a recipe for rancidity. Plastic is semi-permeable, meaning oxygen can slowly seep in, and clear glass allows light to accelerate the degradation of the oil. For a senior who might take several months to finish a large bottle, the oil at the bottom of the jug is likely highly oxidized. Oxidized oil contains lipid peroxides, which can actually increase oxidative stress in your body, the exact opposite of a healthy senior diet. While the price tag is low, the biological cost of great value olive oil makes it a risk that your health simply cannot afford. The fifth and final brand on our avoid list is perhaps the most difficult to discuss, because it is a name that has lived in the hearts and kitchens of American families for over 150 years: Bertolli. For many seniors, Bertolli represents the very definition of olive oil. It was likely the brand your parents used, and its presence in almost every major grocery store in the nation makes it the ultimate, safe choice by default. However, when we look at the documented legal and safety record, Bertolli emerges as one of the most concerning examples of corporate marketing outstripping product integrity. For a senior who is prioritizing longevity and cellular purity, Bertolli's history is a roadmap associated with Bertolli is the most extensive on our list. In 2018, Diolio USA, the same parent company behind Carapelli, was forced to settle a massive class action lawsuit for $7 million. The lawsuit alleged that Bertolli systematically misrepresented its products by labeling them as imported from Italy. Much like Filippo Berio, Bertolli was using a geographic loophole, sourcing bulk oil from various countries and simply bottling it in Italy to take advantage of the Made in Italy prestige. As part of the settlement, Bertolli was legally barred from using the phrase imported from Italy, unless every single olive in that bottle was grown and pressed on Italian soil. This was a forced admission that for years, seniors were paying a premium for a heritage that simply wasn't there. But the concerns for seniors go beyond deceptive labeling and enter the realm of direct physical safety. Bertolli has been subject to FDA-confirmed recalls due to the detection of pesticide residues that are not permitted in olive oil sold in the United States. For an aging body, the ability to detoxify environmental pollutants becomes less efficient. Consuming a health food that contains trace amounts of synthetic pesticides is a direct contradiction to a wellness-focused lifestyle. When you are trying to protect your neurological health and kidney function, you cannot afford to have these contaminants in your daily diet. Bertolli's distribution model is a nightmare for oil freshness. As a massive global brand, their oil often travels thousands of miles in shipping containers, sits in non-climate controlled warehouses, and is finally displayed on supermarket shelves in clear glass bottles under harsh fluorescent lights. This triple threat of heat, light, and time is the perfect recipe for rancidity. By the time a senior buys a bottle of Bertolli, the delicate antioxidants, the polyphenol, have often been destroyed by oxidation. Instead of an anti-inflammatory powerhouse, you are left with a bottle of degraded fat that can actually increase the toxic load on your system. For a senior who is investing their hard-earned money into their health, Bertolli represents a legacy that has sadly failed to keep its promise. Now that we have navigated the Hall of Shame, it is time to shift our focus toward the brands that treat your health with the respect it deserves. We begin our buy list with a choice that might surprise you, as it isn't found in a boutique specialty shop, but rather in the aisles of a warehouse giant. Kirkland's signature organic extra virgin olive oil, the house brand for Costco, has become a legendary recommendation among independent food researchers, registered dietitians, and advocates for senior wellness. For a senior who is managing a budget but refuses to compromise on the integrity of their nutrition, Kirkland Organic represents what we call the most honest transaction in American retail. Kirkland Organic earns its place on your counter is its commitment to third-party verification. Unlike the mass-market brands that ask you to trust their marketing, Kirkland puts its quality to the test. This oil has been repeatedly evaluated by independent organizations, including the prestigious UC Davis Olive Center, and has consistently passed the rigorous chemical and sensory standards required to be labeled true extra virgin. For a senior body, This means you are actually receiving the heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and anti-inflammatory polyphenol you are paying for, rather than a diluted or refined substitute. Perhaps the most critical feature of this oil is its USDA organic certification. As we discussed with the brands to avoid, pesticide contamination is a very real threat in the global olive oil trade. For a senior citizen, whose liver and metabolic systems may not process environmental toxins as quickly as they once did, the organic seal provides an invaluable layer of protection. This certification ensures the olives were grown without synthetic pesticides or herbicides, addressing the exact contamination concerns that led to the recalls of brands like Bertolli. By choosing Kirkland Organic, you are significantly reducing your toxic load while flooding your system with pure, plant-based medicine. The price-to-quality ratio of this oil is unmatched. Seniors often have to choose between expensive, boutique oils and cheap, low-quality supermarket brands. Kirkland breaks this cycle by offering a massive 2-liter bottle at a price per ounce that few can beat. However, there is a specific senior tip you must follow when buying this large format. Olive oil is a perishable product. Once you open that large bottle, oxygen begins to degrade the oil. To maximize your health benefits, we recommend decanting a small amount into a dark glass dispenser for daily use and storing the large original bottle in a cool, dark pantry. Kirkland's Signature Organic proves that you don't need a fancy label or an expensive glass bottle to get elite-level nutrition. It provides the transparency, the organic purity, and the scientific validation that a senior needs to protect their cardiovascular system and maintain cognitive health. It is a no-nonsense, high-integrity product that belongs in every health-conscious senior's kitchen. For the senior who values the culinary heritage of Italy but has been burned by the deceptive marketing of mass-market brands, Lucchini Italia stands as a beacon of genuine integrity. While brands like Filippo Berio use the Italian name as a mere marketing shroud, Lucchini Italia operates on a principle known as vertical integration. For you, the consumer, this is the ultimate structural guarantee of quality. Vertical integration means that Lucchini doesn't just buy oil on the anonymous commodity market from the lowest bidder. They own and manage their own olive groves in the heart of Tuscany. They control every single step of the process, from the moment the olive is picked off the branch to the moment the dark glass bottle is sealed. This level of control is vital. When a company manages its own estate, the imported from Italy statement isn't a legal loophole, it is a geographic reality. The olives are grown in Italian soil, pressed in Italian mills, and bottled in Italian facilities. This single-origin supply chain eliminates the risk of the mystery blends and industrial adulteration that plague the brands on our avoid list. You are receiving a pure, unadulterated product that reflects the specific nutrients and antioxidants of a single harvest. One of the most important indicators of Lucchini's quality is its flavor profile, which many seniors describe as robust and peppery. This isn't just a matter of taste, it is a matter of medicine. That sharp, peppery sensation at the back of your throat when you swallow fresh olive oil is caused by a compound called oleocanthal. Scientific research has shown that oleocanthal acts as a powerful natural anti-inflammatory, working in a way remarkably similar to low-dose ibuprofen. For a senior managing joint pain, arthritis, or chronic systemic inflammation, this peppery kick is the sign that the oil is doing its job. Brands on the avoid list often have a flat, greasy, or neutral taste because their oleocanthal has been destroyed by age or heat. Lucchini preserves it. Furthermore, Lucchini Italia shows its commitment to your health through its packaging. You will never find Lucchini in a clear glass bottle. They exclusively use dark, heavy glass that acts as a fortress against light-induced oxidation. This ensures that the delicate polyphenol, the antioxidants that protect your brain from neurodegeneration, are still active when they reach your salad. They also carry non-GMO project verification, adding another layer of purity for the health-conscious. At a mid-range price point, often found at Whole Foods or specialty grocers, it represents a superior value for those who view their food as their first line of defense against the diseases of aging. You are paying for a vertically integrated, estate-grown medicine that honors the true Mediterranean tradition. Lucchini Italia doesn't just sell you a dream of Italy, it delivers the documented, anti-inflammatory power of the Italian grove directly to your table. The third brand on our buy list takes us to the groves of Australia, where a company called Cobram Estate has fundamentally redefined what quality looks like in the global olive oil market. For many seniors, the idea of buying olive oil from Australia instead of Europe might seem unconventional, but when you look at the scientific data, the Australian advantage becomes undeniable. Cobram Estate has emerged as one of the most award-winning brands in the world, consistently securing gold medals at the New York International Olive Oil Competition, the most rigorous quality contest on the planet. For a senior who is tired of being misled by Italian labels, Cobram Estate offers a level of documented transparency that is truly refreshing. Success lies in their obsession with speed and acidity. In the world of senior health, acidity is a critical marker. International standards allow an oil to be labeled extra virgin, with an acidity level of up to 0.8%. However, Cobram Estate publicly commits to a level of 0.3% or lower. Why does this matter for you? Lower acidity is a direct indicator that the olives were healthy, undamaged, and, most importantly, pressed within hours of being harvested. When olives sit in piles for days, they begin to ferment and oxidize, destroying the heart-protective polyphenol. By pressing their fruit almost immediately, Cobram Estate locks in the highest possible concentration of antioxidants, providing you with a potent biological tool to manage blood pressure and protect your vascular system. One of the most significant benefits for seniors is what we call the Southern Hemisphere timing. Because the seasons in Australia are opposite to those in Europe and North America, their olives are harvested during the Southern Hemisphere spring, which corresponds to our fall. For a senior shopping in a U.S. grocery store in November or December, a bottle of Cobram Estate is often 6 months fresher than any European import on the shelf. In the world of nutrition, fresh equals effective. Olive oil is not like wine. It does not get better with age. It is a fresh fruit juice, and its medicinal properties are at their peak the moment it is pressed. Also sets the industry standard for transparency by printing a clear harvest date on every single bottle. They don't want you to guess. They want you to know exactly how old your oil is. This allows you to verify that you are within that golden 12 to 18-month window of peak potency. Furthermore, they use dark glass bottles and specialized pop-up pourers that minimize oxygen exposure every time you use the oil. For a senior who may be managing chronic inflammation, this attention to detail ensures that the oil remains an active anti-inflammatory agent until the very last drop. Whether you choose their Australian-grown lines or their newer California-grown products, Cobram Estate delivers a scientifically backed, award-winning freshness that is specifically engineered to support your long-term vitality. The fourth brand on our buy list is a relative newcomer that has taken the culinary world by storm, Graza. While some seniors might be skeptical of its bold, modern branding and unconventional packaging, Graza has solved one of the most frustrating problems in the olive oil industry. For decades, consumers were told to buy one premium bottle of oil and use it for everything. But the scientific reality is that high-heat cooking and raw finishing require different types of oil. Graza simplified this by offering two distinct products, Sizzle, for cooking and Drizzle, for finishing. For a senior who wants to maximize their health without needing a degree in food science, this clarity is an absolute game changer. Oil is made from 100% picul olives, harvested early in the season when the fruit is still green and bursting with polyphenol. This results in a potent, grassy oil that is meant to be used as a raw medicine, drizzled over soups, salads, or even a piece of toast. The Sizzle oil is harvested later in the season when the olives have more oil content and a milder flavor, making it stable enough for the higher temperatures of your stovetop. For a senior managing a heart-healthy diet, this distinction ensures that you are using the right tool for the job, preserving the delicate antioxidants when you eat raw and providing a stable, healthy fat when you cook. One of the most practical benefits for seniors is Graz's revolutionary squeeze bottle design. As we age, our grip strength can sometimes decline, and maneuvering heavy, slippery glass bottles can be a challenge. Graz's lightweight, opaque squeeze bottles are incredibly easy to handle, providing precise control over every drop. But more importantly, these bottles are a technological masterpiece of preservation. Unlike traditional wide-mouth glass bottles that allow a large gulp of oxygen to enter the bottle every time you open it, Graz's narrow nozzle minimizes air exposure. Oxygen is the second greatest enemy of olive oil after light, as it causes the oil to go rancid through a process called lipid peroxidation. By blocking out 100% of the light with its opaque material and drastically reducing oxygen intake, Graza ensures that your oil stays fresh for much longer than a standard grocery store brand. Graza is a single-origin producer. They source exclusively from a specific region in Jaén, Spain, known for having the highest concentration of olive trees in the world. This isn't a mystery blend from 5 different countries. It is a traceable, honest product that honors the land it comes from. For the senior who wants to avoid the chemical alchemy of mass-market brands, Graza offers a transparent window into the grove. When you taste that vibrant, green flavor, you are tasting the actual life force of the olive fruit, preserved by smart packaging and a commitment to single-origin integrity. Graza proves that the future of senior health isn't found in a dusty, traditional bottle, but in a smart, science-backed approach to how we store and use our liquid gold. We have reached the pinnacle of our list, and it brings us back to American soil. California Olive Ranch is not just another brand on the shelf, it is the definitive gold standard for accountability, purity, and transparency in the global olive oil industry. Founded in 1998, this company didn't just set out to make oil, they set out to challenge the fraudulent European establishment by proving that high-quality, medicinal-grade olive oil could be produced with scientific precision. For a senior citizen who wants the absolute highest level of certainty that what is on the label is what is in the bottle, California Olive Ranch is the undisputed this brand holds the top spot is its unwavering commitment to the California Olive Oil Council (COC) certification. For you, the senior consumer, this seal is your ultimate insurance policy. The COC standards are widely recognized as the strictest in the world, far exceeding the loose, often unenforced requirements of the International Olive Council in Europe. To earn this seal, every single batch of California Olive Ranch oil must pass a double-blind sensory evaluation by a panel of certified tasters to ensure zero defects, followed by a rigorous chemical analysis in an independent laboratory. This analysis checks for freshness markers and ensures that the oil hasn't been diluted with cheap seed oils. While brands like Bertolli or Pompian often hide behind self-reported claims, California Olive Ranch invites independent experts to verify their integrity. For a senior body, the seed oil-free certification that the brand earned in 2025 is a monumental victory. One of the greatest fears in the olive oil world is silent adulteration, where companies secretly blend in sunflower or soybean oil to cut costs. These seed oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids which, when consumed in excess, can promote the very systemic inflammation that seniors are trying to avoid. By securing an independent, seed oil-free verification, California Olive Ranch provides you with a level of purity that protects your heart and joints from hidden inflammatory California triggers. Olive Ranch leads the industry in harvest date transparency. They don't hide the date in tiny code on the back, they display it clearly. They understand that for a senior managing cognitive health, the clock is ticking on those precious polyphenols. By providing a clear harvest date, they allow you to ensure your oil is within that peak potency window of 12 to 18 months. Their 100% California line is particularly special because it bypasses the triple threat of long-distance international shipping. The olives are grown, pressed, and bottled in California, meaning the oil doesn't spend weeks in a hot shipping container crossing the Atlantic. Finally, their commitment to dark green glass and high-quality seals ensures that the oil remains alive until it reaches your kitchen. For the senior who wants a brand that is accessible, affordable, and scientifically proven to be pure, California Olive Ranch is the ultimate choice. It is a product of American innovation that prioritizes your longevity over corporate profit. When you see that green label and the COC seal, you can breathe a sigh of relief. You have found the real thing. This is the final chapter of our deep dive. To ensure this concludes with the weight and impact your video deserves, I have expanded this section to nearly 600 words, focusing on the Senior's Blueprint for Health and a powerful, emotional call to action. The Senior's Blueprint for a Vibrant Life. We have reached the end of our journey, but for you, this is actually the beginning of a new chapter in your health. We have unmasked the billion-dollar fraud of the global olive oil trade, backtatched the deceptive legal loopholes used by household giants, and identified the true heroes of transparency. But more importantly, we have established that for a senior, olive oil is not just a food, it is a biological necessity. Research published as recently as 2025 and 2026 confirms that a daily dose of high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal for longevity. Just 4 teaspoons, about 20 milliliters, of raw, high-quality oil a day has been shown to significantly reduce cardiovascular biomarkers in as little as 6 weeks. For those of us concerned about cognitive decline, a long-term study of 90,000 individuals revealed that those with the highest olive oil intake had a 29% lower risk of dying from neurodegenerative diseases like dementia. This is the peppery medicine of the Mediterranean diet, and now you have the blueprint to ensure you are actually getting it. To protect your vitality, you must become a detective of the pantry. Every time you reach for a bottle, run through the tips for senior triple check. The harvest date. If the bottle only has a best by date, put it back. You need the specific month and year the olives left the tree. Your goal is to consume oil within 12 to 18 months of that date, while the antioxidants are at their peak. The Light Fortress. Never, under any circumstances, buy olive oil in a clear glass or clear plastic bottle. If light can reach the oil, it is already dying. Look for dark green glass, opaque ceramic, or tin containers that act as a shield for your health. Look for the COC, NAOA, or USDA organic seals. These are not marketing gimmicks. They are independently verified guarantees that the oil is pure, pesticide-free, and hasn't been diluted with inflammatory seed oils. Once you bring that liquid gold home, the care continues. Store your oil in a cool, dark cupboard, never near the heat of the stove or on a sunny windowsill. If you buy in bulk, like the Kirkland Organic from Costco, decant a small amount into a dark glass dispenser for daily use and keep the rest sealed tight to prevent oxygen from stealing its anti-inflammatory power. This journey is about more than just oil. It's about reclaiming your right to know exactly what is fueling your body in your golden years. You've worked hard for your health, and you deserve a food system that respects that effort. Don't let a pretty picture of an Italian villa or a cheap price tag steal your strength. Share this 12-part investigation with your friends at the community center, your siblings, and your children. They need to know that the liquid gold in their kitchen might be a hollow promise. Thank you for trusting Tips for Senior with your most valuable asset, your health. If this deep dive has empowered you, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment below telling us which brand you'll be switching to. We are in this journey of longevity together. Remember, In a world of marketing lies, the truth is the most vital ingredient on your menu. Stay informed, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next investigation.